present the overview of today's Science Policy Forum, may we call on the Chair of the Special Concerns Technical Working Group on Assessment Regulatory Laboratories in the Philippines and their role in trade facilitation, Academician Evelyn Mae Tecson-Mendoza. She is a member of the Academy and a Professor Emeritus of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. At UPLB, she headed the Plant Biotechnology Program of the Institute of Plant Breeding and then the Crop Biotechnology Program of the Crop Science Cluster Institute of Plant Breeding. Currently, Academician Mae is the Editor-in-Chief of the Transactions of the National Academy of Science and Technology and was also Editor-in-Chief of two leading scientific journals in the country, the Philippine Journal of Crop Science and the Philippine Agricultural Scientists. So may we call on stage now Academician Evelyn Mae Tecson-Mendoza.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Kunay nagpapasalamat ako at tinanggap nyo ang aming invitasyon na dumalo dito sa Science Policy Forum. Nabanggit na po na ito po ay isang Special Concerns Project, DWG6, Assessment of the Regulatory Laboratories in the Philippines and the Role in Trade Facilitation of the National Academy. And the forum is more specific on the factors affecting export trade in the Philippines, parang standards, accreditation, metrology, and regulatory laboratories. Wala din kayo ay involved dito. Next slide, please. The Academy serves as an advisor on SME-related matters to the President and the Government as per PO 818. And we know that the Philippine exports have averaged only 4% growth in the past 20 years and are lowest behind our ASEAN neighbors. Hindi ako dito sa iba pa. Thus, to strengthen the Philippine export sector globally, the government has adopted an integrated whole-of-government commitment to deliver broad access to what we call the national quality infrastructure as the foundation of the strategic framework to promote trade and investments, PDP 2023-2028. Next slide, please. What is NQI? It covers the complete ecosystem of public and private institutions, as well as the legal and regulatory framework required to establish and implement standardization, accreditation, metrology, conformity assessment, primarily testing and certification, and market surveillance. And as of now, 5 bills have been submitted to Congress to address the NQI concerns of the country. Next slide, please. Now, the core bodies that constitute the NQI in our country, as we know, are the National Metrology Laboratory of the Industrial Technology Development Institute of the DOST, the Philippine Accreditation Bureau, and the Bureau of Philippine Standards, both under the Department of Trade and Industry. However, there are other government agencies involved in the development and implementation of the standards, which are the BAFS, Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Standards, under the DA and the Food and Drug Administration, under the Department of Health. Next slide, please. And this forum is the initial activity of our DOH. And we aim to actively engage the heads or the representatives of these different agencies of our government, as well as private sector representatives in discussing the issues, concerns, and factors which affect export trade leading to rejections, more specifically with regards to the regulatory laboratories. But we know that this NQI is not just for trade exports, for consumers in the Philippines. No? But for this particular forum and for the part of our project, we're focusing on trade on the trade facilitation. But certainly we will be getting data also for our consumer protection. Next slide, please. Alam ko hindi ito kompleto. Ako lang po ang gumawa nito. No, so how do the NQI components interact or are related to each other? So we know the product before it goes to the consumer or for export has to pass product standard for quality, for safety. And the PAPs also have standards for halal as well as organic agricultural products. The standards are developed by DPS, PAF, DOH, and other agencies. The analysis is done by accredited laboratory, accredited by the PAB. The method of analysis is approved by Engr. So how do they really interact with each other? Next slide, please. Now this is just an example of trade rejections we obtained from the UNIDO.org website. And what I did was to get the total for the different years, 2010 to 2020, for 4 products that are exported. And so the aggregate rejection rate of Philippine export products for 5 exporting countries, for 5 exporting countries: Australia, China, EU 28, Japan, United States. So you can see HS1 23 food and feed, a total of 2,105. For HS20, preparations of vegetables, etc., a total of 189, 151, and 14. The aggregate rejection rate is the simple sum of the annual number of rejections, and increases in the number of rejections can reflect both the increase in volume of exports and the rate of non-compliance in food safety and quality standards. Next slide, please. So this is just an example for HS23 food and feed for different countries, imported countries, and the data will be calculated to the next slide. Next slide, please. What's the basis for the trade rejection? So reasons for rejections: presence of additive, adulteration of or missing document, bacterial contamination. So you can see additive is the gold one, and it varies from country to country. Adulteration, light blue. Bacterial contamination is the dark blue. You can see the very dark blue in China and in Japan, the export products. Heavy metal, red, hygienic conditions, mycotoxins, other contaminants, other microbiological contaminants, packaging, and veterinary drug residues. So these products pass our laboratories and got the permits, but when they got into they reached the important countries, they were rejected on this basis. Next slide, please. The UNIDO data are only on agricultural fisheries products, and this is the listing that came, 23 of them. Next slide, please. But we know that exports from the Philippines the agri products are only a small portion. Also, this I obtained from Trend Economy. 55%, 9.21, 3.05. Most of these are manufactured products. And you will see later in the next slide the percentage of the agro-based products. So we are exporting a lot, but we don't have any data on whether the other products have also some rejections. It's only on the agro-based. So we hope that we can also obtain some data on that in that aspect. Next slide, please. This is from the PSA as of 2022 and September 2023. So manufactured goods constitute the majority of our exports. Mineral products, total agri-based products, only a small portion. We have also forest products. Next slide, please. So that's just parang napakaliit na view lang yung pinapakita natin sa inyo. Sa big problem, kahit na the agro-based products probably 15%, but we know that any rejection would have an impact on our economy, on our industry, and the workers not involved, the community, their families. So again, the objective of this activity is to initiate a collaborative study and discussion on the topic among our stakeholders to identify and or confirm the areas and points to be further studied. And let us all work on this together. So again, thank you very much for spending the time today with us. Thank you.
Maraming salamat.